Hey guys, it's Katara, and today I'm going to be doing the Avatar: The Last Airbender book tag. So I have been wanting to do this tag ever since I saw Angela from Literature Science Alliance do this tag. If you were like me, then you just realized that Netflix finally has all seasons of The Last Airbender on Netflix, and I have been like binge watching these videos and I'm absolutely loving it. It's like my favorite show from childhood. I used to come home every day after school and watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, like not even in order, but I loved it anyway. So I'm so excited to do this tag. I also didn't prepare for this. These are gonna be like just off the top of my head, and I took a glance at them right before this and they're gonna be kind of hard, so I'm really excited for it. So let's just get into them. So I grabbed my handy dandy iPad to read the questions, so if I'm looking down, that's why. It's broken up into the different elements, which I like that. So we're gonna start out with water, and the first prompt is based off of Katara and Sokka, and it is best sibling relationship. And right off the bat, we have a hard one, because I honestly can't think about any siblings right now. I love a good sibling relationship, don't get me wrong, but for some reason, I feel like I love a good sibling relationship because I don't see them that often. Yeah, maybe. Oh, and this is a good one. I'm gonna go with one of my favorite series of all time, which is the Game of Thrones. And no, I'm not talking about those siblings. Get your head out of the gutter. I'm talking about Jon and Arya. I absolutely love their relationship, especially in this first one. And I think what makes it so good is that they're kind of set apart from some of the other characters. They have a very lovable dynamic that I really love, and it tears my heart out that they're separated for the majority of this series, because I just want them to meet again. And yes, I know the show came out and things happened in the show, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the books. I think Jon and Arya just have such a great sibling relationship that I need more relationships like that, if you know what I mean. And what makes that even sadder is they only have 2 scenes where they're actually in the same scene together. So it's like they have a great relationship, but you don't get to see very much of it. So prompt number 2 is Yue, favorite star-crossed lovers. Again, a really hard one for me. I feel like these should all be easy ones because they're very character focused. And I love character focused sort of conflicts, and it's just I don't know right now. The first book that came to my mind when I heard the term star-crossed lovers was Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read this book last year, and oh my gosh, the romance in here is so good, but it's also kind of devastating. And I don't want to say who the people are, because it would definitely give away spoilers that it's star-crossed lovers, but I love the way it was done in this book, and I think it was done really, really well, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, so question number 3 is a book with a disturbing and unsettling concept. And I had 2 books that immediately popped up in my mind, and they're both Stephen King books. So I'm gonna talk about both of them. So the first one is a book that I've talked about quite a bit this year so far. So I'm gonna talk about that one first, and that's The Stand by Stephen King. I won't get super into this one. It's about a pandemic flu that changes the world as we know it. This is an apocalyptic book. Extremely disturbing. I don't know if it's creepy, but it's extremely disturbing, and it makes me really anxious that it's very similar to what's going on right now. This is way, way worse though, just saying. Way, way worse, but extremely disturbing and very realistic the way that Stephen King writes it. And then the other one, which would have been my go-to before I read that book, is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. Oh my gosh, this is one of the creepiest books that I've ever read. There are some of the creepiest flashbacks in this book that I've ever read. The concept is incredibly disturbing. I'm not gonna say what it is because it kind of gives away stuff, but if you've seen the trailers for the movies, you guys know what the concept is. Really creepy, and I loved every second of it. So now we're gonna go to Earth, and the next one we have is Toph, a character whose strength surprised you or surprised the other characters. So for this one, I'm gonna talk about a book that I don't talk about often, but I probably should, and that's Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie. You guys know Joe Abercrombie is one of my favorite authors of all time. This is one of his standalone novels in the First Law world, tentatively the 4th novel in the World series. I absolutely love this book, by the way. It's my favorite of the standalone novels. And the main character in this is Monza Mikado. She's one of the strongest female characters I've seen in one of these types of books in the longest while. Things happen at the very beginning, and how she handles it and what she does is so strong and powerful in a way I wasn't expecting, and a way a lot of people in this book was not expecting, and I loved every second of it. Like, seriously, this book is way better than people give it credit for. I absolutely loved it. I think I gave it 4.5 stars, so not a 5-star book for me, but still really, really good. The main character is freaking awesome. So the next one is the Tales of Ba Sing Se, which is Best Short Story or Poetry Collection. Okay, this one's hard because I don't read a whole lot of short story or poetry collections. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Let me get back to you guys. I don't know why I didn't think about this before. Sharp Ends by Joe Abercrombie. How did I not think about this short story collection? I was about to bring over one of the poetry collections that I read like 3 years ago. Then I was just like, I read a short story collection this year. This short story collection is really gripping from the very beginning. I really enjoyed it, but what really made it for me was the last story. The last story was like so good. I absolutely loved it. I did not expect where it was going. Didn't expect it. And I loved every second of it. Like, seriously, one of the best short story collections I've ever read, one of the best short stories I've ever read, and Joe Abercrombie just hits it out of the park every single time. I love his writing, and I can't wait to read more by him. So the next one we have Kyoshi Warriors, Best Warrior Character. The problem with this is there are tons of great warrior characters. I have to decide which one is the best. I feel like I'm gonna choose the same one that everyone else chooses. I think I'm just gonna go with it. Because he's like definitely just the best warrior character. And that's Dalinar. Of course it's Dalinar. Oh my gosh. I absolutely love him. He's like one of my favorite characters of all time. And I do realize he's way more of a warrior in the first book, not the second book, but I like the second book more. So like, just go with it. Also, I don't know where the Way of Kings is right now. I'm gonna have to look for it because I can't find it. So I'm holding up Words of Radiance. But Dalinar is the best. Absolutely love him. And I can't wait to read the third book in this series. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to Fire. The first one is Zuko, best redemption arc or redemption arc that should have happened. And can I say Zuko? Because he is legitimately my favorite redemption arc of all time. I can't think of another one right now. Okay, so I feel like this might be a spoiler. So if you haven't read the Live Ship Traders trilogy by Robin Hobb, then jump to this time, because this is gonna be a slight spoiler for Mad Ship and Ship of Destiny. So it's gonna be a Mad Ship. I don't know if this is really a redemption arc or not, but Malta. Can we talk about Malta for a second? Because in the first book, she is super, super annoying. But in this book, you just see her grow and change and become like the amazing person that she ends up being in Ship of Destiny. And I loved it. I don't know how I could love Malta so much by the end of this trilogy, considering how much I hated her in the first book. But you see all of her growth and change starting at the beginning of Mad Ship, where she's like literally the worst person I've ever met, and then becomes such a cool person by the end. Now, mind you, I still don't think I would be friends with her, but I can admire her for what she is by the end of like Ship of Destiny. And I absolutely love her character arc because of that. I don't know if that's a redemption arc, because she wasn't actually a terrible person, but like it kind of felt like she was a terrible person because she was just so frustrating. So if you're coming back now, I'm really sorry that I had to do that, but it was the only one that I actually had a character arc that was maybe not quite a redemption arc, but definitely one of the best character arcs that I've ever read. So the next one is Iroh, Wisest Character. And oh my gosh, this is really hard. I don't think I read a lot of books with wise characters. Like, I think all of the characters in books that I read are like stupid, and that's why they're interesting, because the characters make stupid choices because it makes sense for them to make stupid choices. So this one's definitely a cop-out, but I'm going with Dumbledore from the Harry Potter series. Like, I couldn't think of another one, and I'm going with Deathly Hallows in particular because I feel like Dumbledore, like, you really don't understand like the length of what he did and like just like the intricacies of what he did, which weren't necessarily like the most like morally upright things to do to get the outcomes that he was looking for. You really get to see that whole big picture in Deathly Hallows, like towards the end. And it's just like, he's like the old wise man. Like that's just his whole shtick. And it's the only one I can think of. It honestly is. which I don't know what that says about me and the type of books that I read, but yeah, wisest character I can think of. I think it also doesn't help that I'm in the middle of a Harry Potter reread right now, so that's why, like, Dumbledore's just on my mind right now. And next we have Azula, which is best downfall, which, by the way, Azula, I love. I love Azula. She's one of my favorite characters. I don't know, she's just such a badass, but in like the worst way possible. But I don't know about downfall. Let me think about this. Okay, so I had two on my brain, so I decided to talk about both of them. The first one, I'm gonna do spoiler free. Storm of Swords, Purple Wedding. That's all I'm gonna say. Purple Wedding, it was probably one of the most satisfying scenes that I've read in a really long time. Which, by the way, for those of you who've been following my vlogs, I am currently doing a reread of Storm of Swords. I haven't gotten to that scene yet, but I can't wait for it. Okay, so this one might have minor spoilers for Mistborn, the first book. So if you don't want to be spoiled for it, then go to this time. But we're gonna talk about the Lord Ruler because I did not see that coming, especially the first time around. Holy crap, Vin, what did you do? How in the world? It was fantastic. I loved the ending of the Final Empire. I hate calling it the Final Empire, especially since it says Mistborn on the cover. It doesn't say the Final Empire anywhere. Anyways, I absolutely loved the ending of this and the downfall of the Lord Ruler. It was fantastic, perfect, and like, honestly, this could have been a standalone novel and I would have been happy with it. By the way, I just wanted to clarify, I'm glad it wasn't a standalone novel, but if it was, I would have been happy with it. So now we're gonna be moving on to Air, which are gonna be hopefully some lighter prompts. So the first one is Appa, favorite fictional animal / pet. Man, I'm going back to the exact same stories every single time, but I have to talk about this one. So I'm going back to the realm of the Elderlings. This is the Tawny Man trilogy specifically, but I think this is also in the Farseer trilogy, but Night Eyes. Night Eyes is a wolf, by the way, in case you guys were wondering. He's Fitz's animal companion, and I absolutely love Night Eyes. He's one of my favorite characters in the entire series, which is saying something because he's a wolf, but he's fantastic. I love everything about Night Eyes, and if you guys have read the Tawny Man trilogy, then you know why I'm holding up Golden Fool. I love him, and yeah, favorite, definitely all-time favorite animal companion. So the next one is Aang, and it's Purest cinnamon roll. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna go with another one of my favorite series, and that's The Underland Chronicles by Suzanne Collins. I've been talking about the series on my channel a lot recently. In The Underland Chronicles, Gregor has a sister named Lizzie, and she is just the sweetest, nicest person ever, but she suffers from anxiety. She's always like having a nervous breakdown, and I just want to hug her because she's the sweetest person, but she suffers so much, and I absolutely love her. So she is definitely a great cinnamon roll. And the last one, we have Avatar State, a stubborn character, a character that struggles with letting go. And I know exactly who I'm gonna talk about. And I don't know why I keep going back to like the same series. I just have these series on my mind today for some reason. But I'm gonna go back to the Live Ship Traders series by Robin Hobb, and we're gonna talk about Kyle, especially in this book. He is so stubborn. But if you guys don't know who Kyle is, in the beginning of the Live Ship Traders trilogy, you meet this young woman named Althea, and she has a sister. Althea's sister is married to this guy named Kyle. So Kyle is her brother-in-law. Her father is dying. So the family is a trader family, and so they have the estate, and then they have the live ship, which the live ships are extremely expensive, but the live ships are used to trade. So they're also what brings in a lot of the wealth into the family, which Althea, she has pretty much lived on the ship since she was little with her father, while her sister has pretty much lived on the estate with their mother. Well, since her father's dying, she thinks that she should have the ship, but she's a girl, so he leaves the ship to her sister because she's married. Technically, when her father dies, the ship belongs to her brother-in-law, Kyle, and he is the most annoying and stubborn person I can possibly imagine, and it creates a lot of conflict in this book, and I absolutely love it. I love Kyle as a character. I hate him as a person, though, because of how stubborn he is. So I had so much fun with this tag. Please let me know some of your answers to these questions in the comments down below. I would love to discuss with you guys. Also, if you just want to talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender, I am down with that also because it is one of my favorite shows of all time. Absolutely love it. I'm currently rewatching book 2 Earth, and I can't wait to get to Fire, because Fire is like my favorite season. I think it's everyone's favorite season, but anyways. I post videos every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so consider subscribing. I also post bonus videos, so if you want to be notified as soon as I upload, you can click that little bell icon. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!